For the third, I am a sophomore music education major with piano primary at Westminster Choir College in Princeton, New Jersey. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My parents are Fermin Santiago Jr. and Diane Hernandez Santiago. I also have a brother, Omar Rodriguez. Music was always part of my life, from the busy streets of Kensington, Philadelphia to the living room of my grandparents' house. It was never classical music, but music that touched the deepest part of my soul. It was Latin music, anywhere from salsa to merengue. I always heard it growing up. Surprisingly, no one in my immediate family plays an instrument, but I do have an uncle that was a singer. Encouraging every step I took in life. My mom has been there for me to push me towards education, and not to stop at just the end of high school. It is something that I always loved about her, because I know many of the children that grow up in my neighborhood don't get that much attention towards going to school. She was able to obtain her master's degree in human services, and currently works for the school district of Philadelphia. Dad has been there for me to support to continue doing something, even though I may not like it at first. He has always told me, if you want to try something, you must do it for at least a year. This has always been great, since if I had just stopped going to certain classes, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy them today. My brother has always been a great part of my life, from teaching me brotherly things, as well as taking me places when I was younger. My brother and I have a 12-year age difference, so it's hard to have a lot of things in common, but today he lives in Florida and has two kids, my nephew Jaden and my niece Neilani. Decision in my life that would forever change who I would become in life. During the same time I was learning to play the piano, I was in Taekwondo. It was a tough decision to make between continue to learn how to play piano or stop going to Taekwondo. I had just earned my black belt, and there was plenty of talk about going to black belt tournaments in other countries. I really would have liked to go, but found out that they don't use protection in tournaments, so my mom had feared that I would break my hand and not be able to continue learning the piano. I chose to stop going to Taekwondo since that fear made me realize that if something were to happen to my hands, I wouldn't be able to do much. Surprisingly, not the first instrument I started playing, because when I went to middle school, they didn't offer the choice of piano. I wanted to play the flute, but I ended up learning how to play the clarinet since the teacher told me that my hands would be too small to start learning the flute. The teacher always told my parents I was really good at it, but after she found out that I didn't practice, she wanted me to practice more often. After a few months of playing clarinet, my dad started talking to some of the local bands for their take on what instrument I should learn next. Piano was the top one, since they believed that it was the foundation of instrumental music. I soon started classes with Mrs. Reverend Gage, a local piano teacher at the church. She was able to teach me all the basics in classical music, but I wanted something more, so I went to AMLA to get another teacher for Latin jazz. There I met Elio Villafranca and started classes right away. As mentally gifted in math, I was required to take special classes that were above my grade level in different areas. This allowed me to read books that would spark my thirst for music and the love that I have for it. I knew I wanted to do music for the rest of my life when I was given the choice to go to a magnet school in Philadelphia. The first one I attended was from 5th to 8th grade at GAMP, Girard Academic Music Program. Sadly, the school wasn't the music school I always dreamed about, even though it was tagged as a music school that required students to audition to get into. I really didn't feel as though it was the right school for me. At the end of it all, my mom and I had to sue the school district of Philadelphia to get the proper classes to fit my IEP, Individualized Education Program. This resulted in a 3-year in and out court sessions that would ultimately get me not accepted into a high school portion. Luckily, we won the case and was able to get a few $1,000s to pay for out-of-school programs that would further my education in music. Better, because I went to Kappa, Creative and Performing Arts. It was an amazing school, but didn't offer anything that was piano-based, so I ended up being a percussionist for the entire 4 years. It was different to go from piano into something that wasn't like the piano, but I was able to get my hands to do things they couldn't do before, as well as learn tons of instruments in the process. The best part wasn't until my summers, though, since I was able to use the money that I gained from the school district to go to music programs I didn't even know existed. It was a different experience from what I would do in my summer. Able to go to was SIG, Summer Institute for the Gifted. It was basically the first taste of college for me. I would spend 3 weeks on a college campus and be able to pick out classes for different time slots. I went there for 2 summers, and I met people from all over the country. The classes ranged from fun things like robotics and chocolate history to chemistry and dancing classes. It was something that I will never forget and the friends I made there. The second summer program that I would be able to do was piano camp and composition camp at Westminster Choir College. This is where I would fall in love with music over and over again, with each passing day, while learning about a composer for the week and being able to learn a duet piece in 1 week. It was by far the craziest thing I had ever heard, but every minute was amazing. I even made friends that I would find again at Westminster that felt as though this was the place for them as well. Music from my very first show that my Latin jazz teacher pulled me from the audience onto the stage just to play with him. The years I played at the school district of Philadelphia for the Latin Heritage Month and being able to meet famous Latin musicians. It has always been the best parts of my life, since it enabled me to play at places I never dreamed of, including the Hyatt in Philadelphia. Michelle and I have always been close friends that met in middle school and been able to share her love with her violin with me. It is something only a true friendship can succeed when, even after years of playing, you still find a common bond that makes you come together for another song. To finish my 4 years of music education here at Westminster Choir College, and then be able to further my education in Latino music history with my master's and eventually doctoral degree. After all these years of school, I was finally able to find a music school that was just right for me. It has been my dream to start my own music school, so that's where I would like to be down the line. I would like to change how music is looked upon in public schools and have not just a music school, but a great one that focuses on every aspect of music. If you're going to make a music school, why not go all out with tons of music-based classes? That was one thing that was missing from my life growing up and always bothered me. But I know with the education I take from here and future schools, I will be able to make the music school I always dreamed about.